Why do we fail to change, even after trying? Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to change something in your life? Maybe reduce stress, stop overthinking, build confidence, and for a few days it worked. But then somehow you went back to the same pattern again. Now, most people think this is a lack of willpower, but what if I tell you it has nothing to do with willpower? The real reason lies much deeper, in a part of your mind that you are not consciously controlling. And unless that part changes, no matter how much effort you put, the results will always be temporary. In this video, I'll show you exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how it can be changed. The two parts of your mind. To understand why change feels difficult, we first need to understand how the mind actually works. There are two parts of the mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part you are aware of. It helps you think, analyze, make decisions. For example, I should wake up early. I should not overthink. I should be confident. But here's the catch. The conscious mind is only a small part of your mental activity. The real control lies in the subconscious mind. This is where your habits, emotional patterns, beliefs, and automatic reactions are stored. So even if your conscious mind decides something, if your subconscious programming is different, guess which one wins? Always the subconscious. And that's exactly why people struggle to create lasting change. Why do we keep repeating the same patterns? Let's make this practical. Think about this. Two people face the same situation, say an important interview. One person feels calm, confident, focused. The other starts overthinking, feeling anxious, doubting themselves. Same situation, completely different reactions. Why? Because the response is not coming from the situation. It's coming from the subconscious programming. Let's take another example. Have you ever tried to sleep early, but your mind keeps running at night? Or tried to stop overthinking, but thoughts keep coming automatically? That's not a lack of effort. That's a pre-existing pattern running in the background. And here's the most important part. You cannot change these patterns just by thinking differently at the conscious level. Because the problem is not at the surface. It's at the root. What is clinical hypnotherapy? So the natural question is, if the patterns are in the subconscious mind, how do we actually access and change them? This is where clinical hypnotherapy comes in. Now, before you think of anything unusual, let me clarify this clearly. Clinical hypnotherapy is not magic, and it is not what you see in stage shows. It is a structured and scientific process used to access the subconscious mind in a safe and controlled way. In simple terms, it helps you enter a state of deep focus and relaxation, where the conscious mind becomes quieter and the subconscious mind becomes more receptive. This allows you to work directly at the level where habits, emotions, and patterns are actually stored. And that's why changes created through this process are often deeper and more lasting. Common myths about hypnosis. Before we go further, let's clear a few common misunderstandings. Because many people hesitate, not because it doesn't work, but because of what they've heard about it. Myth 1, hypnosis means losing control. That's not true. In clinical hypnotherapy, you are fully aware and in control the entire time. Myth 2, it's something magical or supernatural. Again, not true. It is based on psychology and how the mind works, nothing mystical. Myth 3, only weak-minded people can be hypnotized. In fact, it's the opposite. People who can focus better usually respond even more effectively. So what we are talking about here is not entertainment. It's a practical tool for inner change. And once this clarity comes, the whole perspective changes. Where can this actually help? Now, let's come to the most important question. Where can this actually be used in real life? Because unless something is practical, it doesn't really matter. Clinical hypnotherapy is used in multiple areas. For example, managing stress and overthinking, helping the mind slow down and become more balanced, building confidence, especially in situations like interviews, presentations, or decision-making, breaking unwanted habits like procrastination, nail-biting, or even emotional eating, improving focus and performance for students, professionals, and even athletes, And in many cases, people notice changes not just in one area, but in their overall mindset and clarity. Because when the internal patterns start shifting, external results naturally begin to change. Why just use it when you can learn it? Now, here's an interesting thought. Most people come across something useful and they think, maybe this can help me. But very few ask a more powerful question. What if I actually learn this skill? Because when you learn how this works, you are not dependent on someone else. You understand your own mind better. You can apply it in your daily life, and you can create change whenever needed. And beyond personal use, this is also becoming a valuable professional skill. Many people today are exploring this as a way to help others, add to their existing profession, or even build a new career path. So the question is not just, can this help me? The real question is, do I want to understand and use this at a deeper level? What will you actually learn? So if you decide to learn this, the next obvious question is, what exactly will I learn? This is not just theory. It's a structured, practical program where you learn step by step how to actually apply this. You will understand how to guide the mind into a state of relaxation, what is called induction. Then, how to deepen that state so that the mind becomes more receptive. You will learn how to give effective suggestions in a way that the subconscious mind accepts and responds to. And most importantly, how to apply this in real-life situations. This includes working on stress and emotional patterns, confidence and performance, habits and behavioral change. So by the end, you're not just understanding the concept, you're actually able to use it practically. How is the course structured? Now, let's talk about how this learning is structured, because clarity and structure makes everything easier. This program is divided into 4 semesters, so that you can learn step by step without feeling overwhelmed. Each semester builds on the previous one, starting from basic understanding and gradually moving towards practical application. The entire course is 100% online, which means you can learn at your own pace from your own place. There's no pressure or fixed timing. You can study whenever it suits you. Along with video lessons, you also get supporting material so that you can revise and practice. And after each level, there is a simple evaluation to ensure that you are actually understanding and progressing. So the focus is not just on completing the course, but on learning it properly and practically. Who is this for? Now, you might be wondering, is this really for me? Let's make that clear. This program is designed for anyone who is genuinely interested in understanding the mind and creating meaningful change. For example, if you are a student, this can help you improve focus, confidence, and reduce exam stress. If you are a working professional, it helps in managing pressure, decision-making, and performance. If you are a homemaker, it can help in emotional balance and overall well-being. And if you are someone already in a helping profession, like coaching, healing, or counseling, this becomes a powerful additional skill. So it's not limited to one category. The only real requirement is a willingness to understand and apply what you learn. What kind of results can you expect? Now, let's talk about results, because that's what really matters. The purpose of learning this is not just to gain knowledge, but to create real, practical change. Many people who start understanding and applying this begin to notice changes like better control over thoughts and emotions, less unnecessary overthinking, improved confidence in situations where they earlier felt stuck or hesitant, a greater sense of clarity and focus both in personal and professional life, and in some cases, the ability to help others using the same understanding and techniques. But it's important to understand this clearly. This is not something that happens magically overnight. Like any skill, the more you learn and apply, the better the results. So the real outcome is not just change, it's the ability to create change consciously. Understanding the value of this learning. Now, let's look at this from a practical perspective. Learning a skill like this, especially in a structured and professional way, is usually quite expensive. If you explore internationally, similar programs often cost anywhere between 3 lakh to 10 to 14 lakh, depending on levels and certifications. And that's understandable, because you're learning a specialized skill. Now, the idea here is not to compare, but to give you a realistic sense of the value. What we have done is structure this program in a way that makes it accessible, without compromising on quality. So instead of focusing only on cost, better to look at it as, what am I gaining in terms of understanding, skill, and long-term use? Because once you learn how to work with the mind, it's not a one-time benefit. It stays with you. Take the next step. Get clarity first. Now, at this point, you might be thinking about a few things. Is this right for me? Will I be able to learn this? How do I get started? And that's completely natural. Instead of trying to decide everything on your own, it's better to get clarity first. That's why we regularly conduct a live Q&A session where all these questions are answered in a simple and practical way. This is not a lecture. It's a space where you can understand things clearly and make an informed decision. If this connects with you, you can join that session, ask your questions, and see if this is the right step for you. No pressure, just clarity. The choice is simple, but important. Before we close, just one final thought. Most people spend years trying to change things on the surface, working harder, thinking more, trying different methods, but the core patterns remain the same. Not because they are incapable, but because they are working at the wrong level. Once you start understanding and working with the subconscious mind, things begin to shift from within. And that changes everything. So the choice here is actually very simple. Continue trying the same approach and hoping things improve, or take a step towards understanding how your mind really works and start creating change more consciously. If this makes sense to you, then don't overthink it. Just attend the Q&A session, get your doubts cleared, and then decide what feels right. That's all that's needed.